Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for watching today. Today is the 23rd, Thursday of March, and today's topic is the setup and the structure is the most important part of any success in relationships, the business, in building a house, sports, anything. Like what got me on this topic was I was rereading some of my notes. I was going through some notes and some different topics for today. And I came across my notes of a podcast I listened to once. And one of the quotes in the podcast was about Jack Nicholas, not Nicholson, Jack Nicklaus, the golfer once said that the success of a golf shot is 80% in the setup, where how you line your club up and getting ready for that shot and what your stance is like before you swing. And then the 20% is your swing and your execution of the shot. So 80% is in that golf success of a golf shot is the setup, and 20% is the swing or execution on that. And that relates to business too. It's the setup of your day, your prospecting, your organization, the setup of your follow-up, the setup of your contact management system, the setup and structure of your customer service when you have a buyer and setting up showings and what you do during a showing. And when you have an offer, your setup and your structure and how you do the paperwork and the organization of negotiating the offer with the other agent, and how your communication with your buyer and or seller, and the follow-up and setup of from the start from that point of getting an accepted offer to the finish line of the accepted offer, and then the structure and the setup of the follow-up with the clients after you sell them a house or sell their house. How are you going to follow up with them to see how they're doing and ask for referrals? The setup and the structure never goes away, but the setup and the structure should not take you 80% of the time. Now, this is where I'm throwing my curve into this. 80% of the success of things is 80% of the setup and the structure, and 20% of the execution. That's the percentage, but that should not be your percentage of time. You shouldn't be spending 80% of your time getting ready, getting set up, organizing the structure, and only 20% of your time executing. Could you imagine if you work 10 hours a day and you spend 8% of those hours getting ready and typing and organizing and all of that, and 20% of your time of actually making the calls and talking to people and talking to your current clients, in communicating with other people. It should be flipped around. 20% of your time should be in the systems that you have set up, that you've already set up, so it's easy to do. Now, early on, those agents that are new, it's going to take some time to get used to and get in the flow of things. But if you have working a 10-hour day, 80%, 8 hours or 80% of that should be income generating time, texting, communicating, calling, sending direct messages, not emails, actually communicating with people, or at least trying to start a conversation with someone, either by phone call, by text, by a direct message, or if you are having a conversation with someone through email. I don't suggest you use email as a contact of just sending them, hey, just to start a conversation. Email to me is used for easy, cheap ways of sending information to a mass or a group of people, not one thing at a time. That's text, that's direct message, that's calls. So spending 80% of your time. So maybe you have to go back and rethink what you're doing day to day. Go back time, or write a journal down. How much time are you spending on this, spending on that? What are you spending your time on? And how much time are you actually actively trying to have a conversation with someone, communicate with someone live one-on-one, either through call, text, direct message, and how much time you're spending in those communications and in that time. And you should watch yourself, because again, 80% of your time should be doing this. This is how you get more business. That's you standing in front of the customers or possible clients. It's kind of like I put it to do this way. It's like you have a store and there's customers in that store and they might not buy things. So I know this might not, it's crystal clear in my head, but imagine you have one of those stores, it's in a high traffic area and you just have people mingling around, but a lot of them just are looking around. But with a little effort, a little salesmanship, a little communication with them, the chance of them buying something is going to help. If you just spend your time behind the counter, 80% of your time behind the counter, just waiting for people to come to you, or organizing something, or stocking inventory of the store, and maybe 20% of the time just trying to communicate with people, you're not going to get enough sales. I'm just throwing out just an idea of having a store where you have to sell people to buy. You got to explain to them what you have, saying the value of it, how good of a product it is, and you could sell people. Now, if you feel that your product, like if you had a store, you should just have a store where people come in, and if you're lucky enough to have some product where you don't even have to sell it, they just come in and buy it. That rarely happens. So that's your product. You are your store is open every day. Guess what? You're not going to be successful just waiting for customers to come in. You're not going to be successful if people are you just put emails out there or ads in the paper or mail something to a group of people one time in hopes that when they buy something a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, they're going to come into your store and use you. That's not going to happen. You have to communicate with these clients. So picture everybody out there that's in your database, your sphere, or future database of bringing people on, are customers that are just mingling around your store that will buy eventually if you just communicate with them. And you got to be out there on the show floor talking to people 80% of the time. You got to be out there talking to people, mingling. That's where your job as a salesperson is 80% of the time, engaging and trying to engage with people, not 20% of the time. So hopefully that made some sense. It's clear in my head, but sometimes I know I'm not the greatest with that analogy of these things that just pop off the top of my head, is that 80% of your time should be spent out there. But the whole point of this video today is the setup of who you call, the organization of who you call, what you're going to say, the follow-up, the note-taking, that the customer service and handling the buyers and the sellers and the contract, that is, you have to have that down pat. You have to be an expert at that. You have to have it organized. You have it ready. You have it something that you don't have to think about every day. It's an autopilot. You've got to have that ready to go, so you're not spending a majority of your time just getting ready and organizing yourself. So that's it for today, but I'm happy. I love when agents call me and we go over a time block of what they did. Hey, Tony, I have 4 hours a day. What should I do with it? I have 8 hours a day. I have an hour a day. But you got to start by taking the notes down of what you did. Can't start by. So anybody wants to call me, text me, email me, get me on my schedule, and I'll go through this with you one-on-one. Start writing a journal down and then come to me and let's analyze it. What have you been doing and what you should be doing? And I love doing that because I see it happening every day. There's very, very, very successful agents doing this and correctly or efficiently. And that's why they're successful. And there's no reason why you can't or anybody else can't if they just want to do it. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching on Thursday. And please join me tomorrow, Friday. Have a great day. Bye-bye.